NFTs in 2021 were absolutely all of the rage. The amount of money that was printed, the amount of millionaires that were made, the amount of money that was thrown around and tossed irresponsibly is absolutely crazy to look back on and think about. In this video today, we're going to discuss some of Gary Vee's thoughts around it and also some of my thoughts around some things that need to change and some things that need to happen for consumer confidence to go back to normal so we can potentially resume some sort of baseline bull run.
So are you like all in on like NFTs? I know, I mean,
I'm all in on NFTs. The NFT technology is remarkable. It's insane.
Why don't people see it, Gary? Because a lot of people don't see it.
Because the first year of people discovering it, their scammiest friend made $83,000 selling a penguin with a penis in its eye. Think about that. Of course normal people don't get it. They're right. It's the same reason people didn't get the internet in '99.
So from the outside looking in, if you talk to your friend about, hey, look, I have this picture that I minted or bought, whatever you wanted to say to them, for $5, $100 or whatever, and now people are selling them for 6 figures, sometimes even 7 figures, that friend might look at you like you're absolutely crazy. And then you toss around all of the pump and dumps and rugs that have been involved in the space with some crazy projects coming out and minting for like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 million dollars and just draining tens of millions of dollars of liquidity and Ethereum from the ecosystem. If you combine all that together, it's pretty obvious, and in hindsight, it's pretty substantial why people felt the way they did outside of our community about NFTs and about the tech, because the tech was not the front man. What people were seeing was the huge headlines about this Bored Ape sold for $500,000. Justin Bieber bought this Bored Ape for $700,000. This rock sold for $5 million. If you're someone from the outside looking in, you're not going to understand that, and you're just going to read these articles and probably never touch this stuff. The fact is that NFTs have a long way to go, and we have been in a speculative bubble for a long time, and the reason that bubble popped is because of a bunch of macro things that happened in the world that basically were out of our control. And frankly, I think the bull run would have lasted at least until the end of 2021 and bleeding into this year, even longer than it did after we saw that kind of spike in volume in January, as long as these kind of macro things hadn't have happened. But the reality is that they did. And so now we have to take a look at the current projects that we're holding, and we have to take a look at the current landscape and understand and pivot as an investor as to how we want to play this market. So for me, my opinion is essentially this: the NFT cycles are probably going to be at least somewhat cyclical. So what I mean by that is crypto usually has a cycle of like, okay, it's a bull market, then it's a bear market, then it's a bull market, then it's a bear market. I think NFTs will have something similar, but probably more on a micro scale. So maybe it'll be like, maybe a month of NFT volume that's higher than normal, and then a month of lower, and then a month of higher. I think right now we're in basically a great reset mode where, look, stocks are down, real estate is down, crypto's down, NFTs are down. Basically everything is down. People aren't willing to spend as much money as they want to right now because people don't have as much money because of inflation and a bunch of different macro factors. And so what we're going to see over the next 6 to 12 to 16 to 24 months is basically a giant purge, a giant culling of people who are not here for the long run. You're going to see people leave the space. You're going to see influencers and stop making videos. You're going to see people delete Twitter accounts and delete Discord accounts. You're going to see people soft rug. You're going to see people hard rug. And basically throughout the entirety of 2021 and 2022 up till now, we've seen that already. But over the next, like I said, 6 to 24 months, I really think we're going to see a lot of that. It's going to be a giant reset of people, and the people who stick around, those are the people who you're going to want to continue to support, because this is the ecosystem that they're passionate about. This is the ecosystem that they believe in beyond just the pure money aspect of it. And obviously a lot of us are here just for the money. And I am at least partially in that camp. Obviously I work in Web3 full time, but also like there were so many projects that I should have sold and should not have held. And frankly, throughout the entirety of this channel, we were talking about flipping and getting in and getting out and holding only certain projects. And a lot of those blue chip projects right now are down like everything else in the world, but at least some of these teams are continuing to build, and at least you can have confidence in specific teams to stick out the bear market. And hopefully they had a decent amount of their treasury and funds locked away, and they didn't keep it in Ethereum, they took it out to cash. That's what any responsible founder would have done. But the reality is a lot of projects are going to continue to fall off the map, and a lot of individuals that you're used to seeing are going to continue to fade away into the sunset as the bear market drags on.
As an operator, as a builder in the NFT space, like what still needs to be built out? Like what's hard? Like, I mean, we're trying to do things
that
around
eliminate friction, right? For example, we're going to have a massive upgrade to our website. Like we're going password and email for the people that want to do it, and that's a Web 2 function. But that was like, you can't do that 18 months ago. It had to be all Web 3. So I think what I call Web 2.5, a lot more Web 2.5 strategies, I think matter.
So another important factor I think Gary Vee touches on in this clip is essentially the friction between the consumer and someone new coming into the NFT space, or even the crypto space in general, needs to get easier. There needs to be less barriers of entry. There needs to be less scams. There needs to be more safety rails. And in part, this is going to come with regulation, right? Just a part of that. And then the other part is going to be education from content creators and people of influence. And then another part is going to just be tools that are built out to help consumers come into the space, right? So right now, you basically have to download a MetaMask and keep your seed phrase secure. And there's a bunch of different steps you have to do to even get involved in the ecosystem, not even mentioning you have to sign up for a centralized exchange, which has a bunch of FUD around it right now, and buy Ethereum, and then use that Ethereum to buy an NFT on secondary, which you have to connect your wallet to and pay this gas fee. And there's so much here. And along that road, you're getting DMs on Twitter and Discord and whatever other social media you use, whether that's YouTube comments or whatever, of scammers everywhere, right? So it's like a minefield for someone new coming to the space and having to walk through it, and that is really, really hard to do. So when the space eventually gets to a more mature cycle where there's less friction, less barriers of entry, that is going to be a part of the gotcha moment. Like, look, this is a lot easier to handle. There's less scams, there's more safety rails, there's more clarity and regulation around certain things. Hopefully regulation doesn't squash the industry as a whole, at least in the United States, and we can start to onboard more and more and more people. But right now it's so convoluted, it's so complicated, and there's so many scammers and crazy stuff that's out there that unless you have like a dedicated Discord to join, something like mine, where we can help you throughout that process, or some like an IRL friend that can help you set up a wallet and keep your seed phrase secure and answer all these questions, then it's essentially just really hard to get started into unless you're like digging crazy down into that rabbit hole. So I think right now the strategy continues to stay the same. Minting projects that you believe in, probably just ending up flipping them. Look, some people like to sell shame, some people like to say diamond hands only, but the fact is that if you don't have a large bankroll, you can't afford to mint and hold every NFT project, because the fact is that a lot of them have euphoric moments after mint out, during reveal, whatever it is, where the floor price will continue to increase, and then attention moves on in the space very quickly, and then the floor price continues to drop as listings go up. We all understand this, and the fact is that unless you have unlimited amount of money, you need to mostly get in and get out of certain projects, and that's the reality of our situation. So I think more than ever, it's going to be super important to latch yourself onto projects and people who are continuously building and sharing ideas and sharing content in the space right now. And throughout the next 6, 12, 24 months, when things continue to be bearish, those are the people who genuinely were here to educate and to help and to support the ecosystem versus just sucking liquidity, being a grifter, whatever you want to call it. The bull market only folks, those are not the people you're going to want to latch yourself onto. And frankly, it's going to happen. Every bull cycle, people come back, founders come back, content creators come back, they suck more money out of the ecosystem, whatever it ends up being. The fact is that that's a reality. We see it in crypto all the time with new coins and whatever, but it's going to be something you really have to consider. Follow the people who are consistently involved in the space through the ups and downs, not just the ups. One quick note about this YouTube channel, I'm going to be turning off all of AdSense and ads on this channel altogether. I have a Discord group that pays my bills and I work in Web3 full time, but frankly, the ads that show up on this channel, I just don't want to support these companies anymore. I don't make a lot of money from ads anyways. I think right now in the bear market, I was making like maybe $50 to $100 a video or something like that. Very, very little. But right now, I basically just don't feel comfortable supporting any of these companies. Like you get a lot of ads for like crypto.com and like a bunch of different exchanges. And I was even getting ads for like BlockFi and stuff on this account. And frankly, I just don't want to be associated with that stuff anymore. So I'm going to turn off ads and leave them off for this foreseeable future. Quick plug, a few spots left in my Discord still open before we close it off. If you're looking to join a group with a ton of stuff and a ton of cool people, check out the link in the description below. Remember guys, if you like these videos, hit that like button, really helps support this channel and myself, and I will see you guys in the very, very next video.